Good morning. Gary Bryson here. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. We're continuing our study of the book of Colossians, and we're in chapter 1, verses 9 through 14. Um, we've said that this is the third, we said yesterday, this will be the third hello section, introductory section, in terms of the epistolary form of this letter. Paul's letters usually go, the first verse or two is to, from, and regarding, the way we would write a letter, a formal letter. And then the second section is, I love you, I pray for you, and I'm thankful for you. And Paul has that section. Well, he has a third section, which is another, I pray for you, I love you, and I'm thankful for you. This section, this third section, he's going to take an extra beat, or maybe I should say an extra measure of music, if this were a piece of music. He's going to take an extra measure in which he is going to establish the themes for the rest of the letter. He's going to do more than that. He's going to introduce and transition to this deeply cosmological section, and he's going to reclaim for the truth words and ideas that they have warped in their heresy. Some of them have. I want to say one more thing before we get into the text and then start talking about it. And it is the great amount of confidence and respect he gives to this church. This is a church he speaks to in challenging theological ways. He would not have gone this deep had he not respected their intellect and their understanding of the truth. These are not people who are giving Christianity a lick and a promise. It's not slapdash stuff. These are not people trying to find shortcuts to true knowledge by, chanting something or, sitting under a tree waiting for enlightenment. These are people who have done the hard work, and they're wanting they're wanting to be overachievers. They're wanting to go beyond. And so Paul doesn't dumb anything down. He has a great deal of respect for their intellect, of the whole congregation, and their ability to process this deeply theological, cosmological information that he's going to share with them, these thoughts, these philosophical notions that he's going to be sharing with them. It's almost like reading Philo of Alexandria, which is interesting because John is closely connected to Philo as well. Um, I just want to mention that respect that he has for them, and that comes through, and it starts really to come through here. 9 through 14. For this reason, since the day we heard of it, that was your love in the Spirit, we have not ceased to pray for you and to ask that you may be filled with the knowledge of His will in all spiritual wisdom and understanding, so that you may walk in a manner worthy of the Lord, to please Him in all respects, bearing fruit in every good work and increasing in the knowledge of God, strengthened with all power according to His glorious might, for the attaining of all steadfastness, patience, joyously giving thanks to the Father who has qualified us to share in the inheritance of the saints in the light. For he delivered us from the domain of darkness and transferred us to the kingdom of his beloved Son, in whom we have redemption, the forgiveness of sins. Um, we didn't mention the whole business of the Spirit, but he talks about the Spirit a lot. They were trying to achieve their own extra levels of perfection through asceticism, which he makes clear in chapter 3. Don't touch this, don't taste this, don't handle this, extra rules. It's the Spirit who perfects us. And the love that you have in the Spirit, he said yesterday, last time. And again, the Spirit, um, the wisdom we have is spiritual wisdom. Um, so what we achieve through the power of the Spirit, not by pulling our own selves up by our own bootstraps, but it is about good works. You may walk in a manner worthy of the Lord to please him in all respects, bearing fruit in every good work. He begins in verse 9 by saying, I continue to pray for you. I will always pray for you. I want you to be filled with knowledge of his will in all spiritual wisdom and understanding. Don't ask for special enlightenment. Just take the word that you already have and seek to know it better and ask the Spirit's help in knowing it better, because when you do, then you'll bear fruit in every good work, and you'll be strengthened, verse 11, with power according to his glorious might, so that you can achieve what? Special enlightenment? No, steadfastness and patience, so that you can have strength to stand strong and to endure to the end. And what should we be doing while we're doing that? We should be joyously giving thanks. And then he has this phrase, he's qualified us. There's nothing left for you to be qualified for. I had a teacher, a history professor in undergrad who wouldn't give A pluses, you know, and and you know, you get your A and you get your A. It's not like, can I do extra work so I can get my A plus? No, just do the work that you've been assigned to do, and and um, and you're already qualified. He's qualified us um, um, to share in the inheritance. That's a connection to Ephesians chapter 1, where he talks a lot about the inheritance. That's a connection to Ephesians there. Uh, Um, the inheritance of the saints in the light. Now that's a connection with John. The saints in the light. John will take that notion, light and darkness. He has redeemed us from darkness. Paul says here, delivered us from the domain of darkness, transferred us into the kingdom of his well-beloved Son. So phrases that John is going to pick up and use. We have this first direct connection to John: light versus darkness, walking in the light, being in the light, saints in the light. Uh, God gave his well-beloved Son. This is my beloved Son, in whom I'm well pleased. God's special Son. We have these themes from John, these phrases from John that are already here 30 years earlier in Paul writing this. But the point is, we have sufficiency in Jesus Christ. We're already qualified to share in the inheritance of the saints in the light. What we need to do is understand better the word that we've already received, and to stand strong and to endure to the end. To do that, we need divine help, but divine help is given to us. We don't have to achieve extra levels of enlightenment or dream up more rules, assign ourselves extra credit. Just do what we're told and depend upon God to empower us to do those things that we have to do through that we know about through the gospel. Okay, he's introduced Jesus as the person through whom God makes all this possible in this section 9 through 14. And that's his first theological topic, and really his only theological topic in the book of Colossians. Who is Jesus? Who does he really mean? What does he really mean to us? Who is he really for us? And he's going to start talking about that in verse 15. We'll pick up there next time. Thank you for joining me for what is now nearly 9 good minutes with the Word.